to put fire, to light fire 24/7, especially at night on the mountain tops, because smoke will be the only thing which can make them safe or which can rescue them. Acha, Musa, the another thing. Ralph was asking for making fire, and Jack was focusing on.
Food, meat,
Yes.
meat.
On the other hand, Jack was focusing on one thing, and what was that? That was meal, food, meat. Continuously, he was asking for such type of things. Right. Then, Samad, are you with us?
Yes, miss.
Okay, Samad is bit sleeping. Okay, Samad, then what happened?
क्या हुआ मिस?
Wake up now. It's better for us. Can any one of you tell me, Anas, what are you doing, Anas? What is Anas doing? Already, another important
सेकंड ईयर एफ
thing.
का आना है मिस.
Second ref का Anas है. Oh, ho. Not
सैयद
first.
सैयद.
Tayyab. All right. अच्छा जी, in chapter 4, who is going to read? Now, see, the boys became accustomed. Very important thing, those we have discussed. First and utmost thing, Ralph was asking for making fire throughout the day, but especially at night. Then he believed in one thing, that smoke will help them out to move from this island. Otherwise, on this island there was no one. So it was their point of view that might be possible no one will come here from Britain. One thing. There is one person who was always missing at a specific time period. He was Simon, and we discussed last pointer by the end of third chapter that Simon was used to leave. Usually used to live with the cabin of leaves, or he usually want to stay within nature, right? And at the last day, I've already asked you that Simon's character is very important character, and somewhere it will help you out to find why do we call it Lord of the Flies, right? This is chapter 4. The boys became accustomed to their daily pattern on the island. Now, it's a bit, they have spent a time period there, so that's why now they were used to live there. They were used to enjoy atmosphere, water, everything. So they were very happy there. There is one specific class of children, those are 6 year old. And who are they? Please, here the names are focus the name Henry, Percival, and Johnny. These are three young boys who are 6 years old, and they are considered little uns. And Litlands has had one problem. What was that problem? Samad or Musa, who will help me out, please? Because the remaining were not there in the largest class. Yes. What was the problem with Litlands?
यस मिस.
What was the problem with Litlands? The problem of Litlands was, please everyone listen to me very carefully, that they were horrified. They saw something, a creature which was like a snake. So they call it beastie, right? From beast.
ओके.
So they believe that they are basically, they were horrified, right? Now, see, what are they talking about? The little ones were used to, because they were very young, so that's why they are considered little ones. And Litlands were used to move here and there. They were used to busy in picking first leaves for making fire and then eating fruit, not caring about any ripeness and quality. Means they were so young, so they were unable to feel that either whatever they are enjoying that is ripe or unripe, right? Then they were used to make building castles. What are castles in the sand? What is castle? Sand homes, or that is called castle. Constantly the little ones were hunted by the nightmare and vision of beastie. See, please everyone, I have already asked, either highlight important points on your book or make notes on your book, or Write down important pointers in your copies. Relieved from the duty at fire, Roger and Morris, the elder boys, came down from a swim, showing their superiority over the little ones. They kicked down the sand castles. So Roger and Morris, they were elder, and when they came for swimming purpose, what did they do? They basically um spoiled their sand castles. Jack, standing under a tree about 10 yards away, was planning how to get success as a hunter because Jack is the leader of Hunter's team. So he was just continuously thinking about one thing, that how to hunt. Though he was continuously, he is failing in his task. Acha, then they don't smell me, they see me, I think. So he decided to camouflage himself. Ralph climbed out of bathing pool and trotted up the beach and sat in the shade beneath the palm. His fair hair was plastered over his eyebrows and he pushed it back, seeing Ralph under the palm. Piggy came and sat by him. Now, see, please keep it remember the best friend of Ralph will be Piggy throughout, and he would be with him. He wrote the remainders of a pair of shorts. He was the only boy on the island whose hair never seemed to grow. I have been thinking, he said, about a clock. Now, see, Ralph was thinking about one thing, and what was that? He was in the favor of making sundial. Because I guess you have this concept. What is sundial? Who can tell me? What is sundial? It is a sort of watch which was usually made by olden people to come to know about the time. So now they were thinking about, Ralph was thinking about this making sundial. I have been thinking about a clock. We would make a sundial. Now he's talking about sundial. We could put a stick in the sand and an airplane and a TV set, said Ralph. Solely a steam engine. Piggy shook his head. You have to have a lot of metal things for that. So they are talking about if we are looking for sundial, so then we need different other things as well. How can we make it? How is it possible for us to make sundial? But sundial usually they make it on sand. So then what is this? Again, there is a concept, there is one thing, it is in his mind, and Ralph is a sophisticated person. Ralph turned and smiled involuntarily. Piggy saw the smile and misinterpreted it, and as friendliness, he continued, we got a lot of sticks. We could have a sundial each. Then we should know what the time was. So they were thinking about time. To change the subject, Ralph shouted as Morris came to the surface. He slid easily into the water and crawled out of the other side of the pool to lie there. The next moment, he was on his feet and shouting, smoke, smoke. Ralph, where is the ship? Simon stood by looking from Ralph to the horizon. Ralph's face was pale as he spoke to himself. They will see our smoke. Now, see, there was a ship there, and Ralph, he was shouting because he wanted to leave this island as early as possible because he was selected as a chief. So, being a chief, he was responsible for everyone. So, that's why he was horrified that if they would not be able to leave or rescued from this island. Now, he is talking about smoke, smoke, but the problem is there was no smoke. The smoke on the mountain, he looked back at dispersing smoke on the horizon, then up to the mountain. He started running. Just where the steep ascent of the mountain began, he stopped. Oh God, oh God. The fire was right out, smokeless and dead. The watchers were gone. Now, what happened? A ship came, and ship had left the area without understanding that they are there. And Ralph was shouting for what? For smoke. So smoke was not there, or smoke was not enough to understand, make them understand them that they were there. So this is the first thing, the first time they missed a chance, and they had an opportunity to leave the island, but they missed it. So these points must be in your mind, right? please notify that these points, like chapter number 4, we have gone through this pointer or that pointer. These are very important pointers. Come back, come back. He was asking to the ship, but of course it was very difficult for the ship. No one had seen them, and they left alone there. He ran backward and forward along the cliff, his face always to the sea, and his voice rose insanely. Come back, come back. Simon and Morris arrived. He reached inside himself for the worst word he knew. They lit the bloody fire. He looked down the unfriendly side of the mountain. He clenched his fist and went very red. The intenseness of his gaze, the bitterness of his voice pointed for him. They are there, they are. So as he missed the chance, so that's why Ralph was very disturbed, because he believed then might be possible there will be no other chance to leave this island. One important thing, please, throughout in this novel, they will take help of piggy glasses to light the fire. They don't have anything, so please, one thing, that piggy, he is near to blind because he cannot see anything without his glasses, right? And throughout in this novel, they will use piggy's glasses for lighting the fire, for kindle the fire. So this pointer you must need to note it down. See, it is not like Progress where there was just one single act, one single scene within a room. It is a complete novel where you need to put many things into your mind to write down different answers. That's why in secondary student they are losing their marks, because you need to know many things, right? All right, Ji. The perception had appeared far down among the pink screes that lay near the water's edge. Ralph picked out Jack easily, even at the distance, tall, red-haired, and inevitably leading the procession. So, if we talk about Jack, how does he look like? So, he's tall, his hair are red. On the other hand, Ralph's hair are fair, right? And Ralph said nothing more but waited while the procession came nearer. Behind Jack walked the twins, carrying a great stake on their shoulders. The gutted carcass of a ram swung from the stake, swinging heavily as the twins toiled over the uneven ground. So it's mean the very first time they have hunted a ram. Now, what was their slogan? Kill the ram, cut his throat, spill his blood. This slogan is very first time used in this novel, and later it will be used on some other occasion. So keep this slogan in your mind, that what was the slogan? Kill the ram, cut his throat, spill his blood. Then Jack reached the top of the mountain first and hailed Ralph excitedly with lifted spear. Look, we have killed a ram. We stole up on them. We got in a circle. He had too many things to tell Ralph. At one instant, he danced a step or two, then remembered his dignity and stood still. Grinning, Ralph spoke. You let the fire out. Jack flushed, conscious of a fault. The fire is only been out an hour or two. Now, what is this? They are fighting with one another, Ralph and Jack, because Jack was at the moment very happy that he has basically hunted a ram. But on the other hand, Ralph was angry because he was asking that why it happened that there was no smoke, no fire. And what was the answer of the Jack? That it was hardly happened 2 to 3 hours. And these were those 2 to 3 hours when the ship came and then ship left the area. So what is this? One very important thing, that sometimes our silly mistakes may lead us towards destruction. So again, there is a conflict between Jack and Ralph. All right, Ralph's voice was loud and savage. There was a ship out there. You said you would keep the fire going and you let it out. He took a step towards Jack, who turned and faced him. Piggy forgot his timidity. What is timidity? Timidity means when you are not brave enough. In the agony of his loss, what is agony? Agony means Agony. Agony means the trouble. He began to cry out shrilly, this from Piggy, and wails of agreement from some of the hunters drove Jack to violence. He took a step and, able at last to hit someone, struck his fist into Piggy's stomach. So they were about to fight, and unfortunately, what happened that they hit Piggy's stomach, and Piggy is already a very weak, though he was fat, but he was weak because he had a lot of problems, and because of those problems he was not very well because his eyesight was very weak. He has a breathing problem, and so that's why he was basically weak enough. All right, ji, Ahsan Raza, are you here?
Yes,
Ahsan,
miss.
Ahsan, start reading. This is Ralph made a step forward.
मिस मैं करूं?
Okay, Samak.
Ralph made
Acha, wait, Ahsan, wait. Okay, Samak. Samak.
कहाँ से करनी है मिस?
Chapter page where chapter number 5 is about to start. From its beginning, Ralph made a step forward and Jack smacked.
Jack smacked Piggy head. His glasses flew off and tinkled on the rocks. Piggy cried out in terror. My
My
specs.
specs,
One
okay,
side.
what are specs? Specs are glasses, and you know, I have already told you that without glasses, he is near to blind. He cannot see anything without glasses. Then,
One side is broken. Now I get only one eye. Just you wait. Jack mimicked the whine and scramble. Just you wait. Yeah. Piggy and the Proddy was so funny that the hunter began to laugh. Later on, he apologized. Ralph muttered ungraciously and said, "All right, light the fire." Piggy and the Proddy was so funny that the
you
hunter
have
began
read,
to laugh.
you have read this. Move
All
ahead.
right,
Hmm.
all right, light the fire. After making a pile of wood, Piggy glasses were used again to make the fire light. The boys roasted the wild ram and enjoyed eating the meat. Jack, dominating the whole activity, considered not letting Piggy have any meat, but then he ordered everyone to eat. Jack explained very eagerly how he had hunted the wild ram. Ralph, holding the conch, spoke. I am calling on assembly. He was going to the beach because he wanted a place to think. He was suddenly overcome with
Astonishment.
astonishment. He
Astonishment.
realized the awareness of
Hmm.
life where everything was an improvisation. He turned then and walked back toward the platform with a mind to call an effective and meaningful meeting.
Okay, thank you. Acha, a few things. Mimic mean, what does mean by mimic? When
किसी की
you,
नकल उतारना.
yes, when you imitate someone, right? And now see how much cruel they were. They know it very well that it is very difficult for Piggy to see something without glasses. Even though they were enjoying, they were making fun of him and they were basically imitating him, right? One thing. And then on the other hand, see, now what was he asking? That his one eye will work because one side of the spec was broken. They use, again, they are using his spec for what? For making light purpose. But when they enjoyed everything, when they when they have prepared the ram meat, they did not ask Piggy to have it, which is a very wrong thing. So see, these small or petty issues are telling us which type of children they were and how their behavior was changing. I have from the day first, I'm asking you, please focus on one question, and that will be about the developmental stages of characters, because their character will be changed with the passage of time, and you have to prove with these incidents that how the different characters were developing or how they were changing with the passage of time. So you need to keep these all pointers in your mind, right? Okay ji. What was Jack asking to? Because Jack was the head of Huntress team, so he was asking everyone has to enjoy the meat, even though they have not asked Piggy, which is very, very abnormal behavior that you are using his glasses for lighting the fire, and even though you are not asking him to have it. And the most important thing, now he has already bear a loss, and what was that? That they have broken his glasses. All right. Here, astonishment means, what does mean by astonishment? Astonishment means surpriseness, right? And then a word we have, yeah, here we have read. What is that? That is basically ungraciously. What does mean by ungraciously? Yes, who will answer me? Ungracious mean rude, uncivil, impolite. And this is not platform, please. This is called platform, right? So this is what this is, platform. Then in the second last line, we have a word improvisation. Improvisation mean improvisation means, gee, what does mean by improvise? Any idea? Because this word is now in improvised mean
किसी की वो कहते हैं ना गलती को ठीक करना या किसी की इस्लाह करना इस तरीके
produce or make something which is unavailable, so make it available. All right, thank you, Hasan and Samad. Acha ji, who is going to read chapter number 5? Abdullah Shah, are you with us? Abdullah Shah?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Awakening or sleeping? Okay, Hasan Raza, start reading chapter number 5, the beach near the bathing pool.
The beach near the bathing pool was dotted with groups of boys waiting for the assembly. They made way for Ralph silently, conscious of his grim mood and the fault at the fire. Ralph turned to the chief's seat. The trouble was that being a chief, you had to think, you had to be wise. He faced the place of assembly and put the conch to his lips. He was searching his mind for simple words so that even the little ones would understand what the assembly was about.
Acha, wait.
We need an
Now,
assembly.
wait. Two things. First, he was very angry, whatever has been done, because they have missed their chance. Next important thing, a very good thing is this, that he was searching words that even such easy words he wants to use, that those young children those were there who would be able to understand. What is this? This is showing which type of head he was. He was the head who was trying to create easiest ways for others. This is also reflecting his character's positivity, that how much positive he was. He was not like this, that usually what happened, we tried to find out such hard words. Those show that how much good I am in spoken. So on the other hand, he is not thinking like this. He is thinking on another side, that such a simple words he was trying to find out. Those will be easy to understand by others. So this is a positive aspect of Ralph's personality. Then, sir?
We need an assembly, not for fun, not for laughing and falling of the lodge. He lifted the conch in an effort to find the compelling words, not for these things, but to put things straight. He paused a moment. We have lots of assemblies. Everybody enjoys speaking and being together. We decide things, but they don't get done. We were going to have water brought from the stream and left in those coconut shells under fresh leaves. So it was for a few days. Now there is no water. The shells dry. People drink from the river. He paused and cleared his throat. Next page.
There is another thing.
There is another thing. We chose those rocks right along beyond the bathing pool as a lavatory. That was sensible too. The tide cleans the place up. You
Oh,
littlets know
okay, Asan,
about
wait,
that.
wait, wait. Now, see, very important thing which he is talking about for everyone. He is talking about cleanliness, right? He is talking about that whatever you have here, use it in a proper way. Don't misuse things. Maybe a day come, then we will be failed to find things for ourselves, like coconut shell, like coconuts, and different other things. Side by side, he is talking about the for bathing pool's point of view, that don't use it as a lavatory, means not use it as a washroom or as a bathroom, and try to clean this whole area. Do not create such type of mess. If you want to use something as a lavatory or as a washroom or bathroom, so you need to go a bit far away area, rather than where you are sitting, you are basically misusing this area. Then one day will come that this place will be dirty and unhygienic for all of us. So what is he trying to say? He is trying to tell them etiquettes, manner, then how to use different things, and don't misuse these resources. Otherwise, we would not be able to survive in this area. Okay, Asan, now go for the next passage. The fire is most important thing.
Okay. The fire is the most important thing on the land, on the island. How can we ever be rescued except by luck? If you don't keep a fire going, is a fire too much for us to make? Look at us, how many we are, and yet we can't keep a fire going to make smoke. Don't you understand? Can't you see we ought to die before we left the fire out? There was a self-conscious giggling among the hunters. Ralph turned on them patiently. You hunters, you can laugh, but I tell you the smoke is more important than the wild ram. However often you kill one, do all of you see? He spread his arms wide and turned to a whole triangle. We have got to make smoke up there or die. And another thing, we nearly set the whole island on fire, and we waste time rolling rocks and make little cooking fires. Now I say this and make it a rule because I am chief. We won't have a fire anywhere but on the mountain ever. Boys
Okay,
too,
wait,
pup.
Hassan, wait. Now, the very important thing, he is continuously focusing on one thing, and what is that? To make a fire, especially on the mountain tops. Otherwise, he is asking that might be possible we would not be able to survive here anymore, because here at the moment they have not mentioned the season, but apparently it looks like it's basically summer season. And if winter arrives before they leave this area, then it would be very difficult for them to survive, especially in winters, because in the beginning we come to know when the plane was crashed, there was nothing which they had. And the if I talk about their uniforms or the dresses those they have worn, that is about to torn out. And if you can see the picture in the novel, the children, they don't have dresses, right? They have no proper dress. So he had a lot of things in his mind to make them safe. So he is basically focusing on one thing continuously. You will see that they are focusing, he is focusing on fire. And on the other hand, hunter group, not only Jack but his whole group, they were giggling, they were laughing, their smile was very taunting smile at them, that because they were continuously enjoying, and they believe in one thing, that they need meat or food. Then, Asan.
Okay. Boys stood up and shouted, and Ralph shouted back. Because if you want a fire to cook fish or crab, you can jolly well go up the mountain. That way, will be certain. All this I meant to say. Now I have said this. You voted me for chief. Now you do what I say. Ceremonially, Ralph laid the conch on the trunk beside him as a sign that the speech was over. Jack stood up, took the conch, and yelled at the littluns for screaming like babies and not hunting or building or helping. He told them that there was no beast on the island. Piggy also discarded the idea of the presence of any uh, beast and ghost, and so there was nothing to take fear of but people. Life, said Piggy expensively, is scientific. That's what it is. In a year or two, when the war is over, they will be traveling to Mars and back. A little named Phil told that he had a nightmare, and when he awoke, he saw something big and horrid moving among the trees.
Okay, wait.
Ralph held
As in,
out
wait.
his
Very important thing where he is talking about what is that continuously he is talking about one thing, and what is that he is now ordering. Before this, Ralph has never ordered. He was very friendly in his behavior, but now see here his behavior has been changed because he is observing that they are not following his instructions. So sometime it happens in our life as well. Our parents are very friendly, our elders are very friendly, but when they realize that someone is crossing the limit, so they become firm. In the same manner, he is trying to become firm, and he is trying to tell them that follow my orders. And if you want to prepare something, you want to even cook something, so it's better for you go on the mountain tops and then prepare thing at there rather than on the plain area, because when smoke will arise, then maybe possible we get any sort of aid. Now, again, Littleton's role is very important, as Asan is talking about. Then now they are also focusing on one thing, and what is that? That they are again discussing one thing, that they have seen one creature at night, and what is that? That is beastie. They are again talking about that they are horrified because at night usually they observe there is something which is basically moving from one area to another area, and they believe there is any beast or ghost is there, and continuously elders are asking there is nothing like this. Okay, Essen,
Ji,
196
miss.
page last quotations. You were asleep, there wasn't any more.
You okay. You were asleep. There wasn't any more there. How could anyone be wandering about in the forest at night? Was anyone? Did anyone go out? The Simon stood up, and Ralph looked at him in astonishment.
Hmm.
You, what were you mucking about in the dark for? Simon grabbed the conch convulsively. I wanted to go to a place I know, a place in the jungle. Ralph looked sternly at Simon. Well, don't do it again. Understand? Not at night. There's enough silly talk about beast. Percival spoke, and he gave his name and address and telephone number as well. This reminder of home caused him break into tears. All the little ones joined him in crying. Conversation turned to mention of beast again. Percival told Jack that the beast comes out of the sea.
Okay,
Morris
As and wait. Again, there is an issue, and what is that? That young ones they were horrified, and then Salmon has accepted that he was moving in the jungle, and we have already discussed that his character is bit mysterious throughout, right? And then what is he talking? And then the young ones they are talking about their family, their addresses, their telephone number, because they were missing their family. That's why they started crying. And yes, it happens. A 6 years old child, he's very young. How much time they can spend without their parent? In the beginning, usually everyone become happy when parents are not at home, so they feel they will enjoy. But since how long? This is the question. And of course, a time comes then when we realize that we need our elders. So this is the highest time when they are realizing that their parents must be with them. Alright, here I'm going to stop. The reason, this is page 197. This is the last minute of this your class, And thank you all of you who have joined us. And but please keep a few things in your mind, whatever you are studying. This must be in your mind that what are you have studied. Then because we in the class, inshallah, we will discuss something which is else than this. We will not going to re-discuss the same thing. We will move ahead. Thank you, class. Thank you to join the class. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.